Chapter 16. Peter Rabbit's Looking Glass. If people by their looks are judged as judged they're sure to be, why each should always look his best, I'm sure you will agree. Peter Rabbit. For the first time in his life, Peter Rabbit had begun to think about his clothes. Always he had been such a happy-go-lucky fellow that it never entered his head to care how he looked. He laughed at Sammy Jay for thinking so much of that beautiful blue and white coat he wears, and he poked fun at Reddy Fox for bragging so much about his handsome suit. As for himself, Peter didn't care how he looked. If his coat was whole or in rags and tags, it was all the same to Peter. But now, Peter, sitting on the edge of his sunning bank in the far corner of the old pasture, suddenly realized that he wanted to be good-looking. Yes, sir, he wanted to be good-looking. He wished that he was bigger. He wished that he was the biggest and strongest rabbit in the world. He wished that he had a handsome coat, and it was all because of the soft, gentle eyes of little Miss Fuzzytail that he had seen peeping out at him so often. He felt sure that it was little Miss Fuzzytail herself who had left the pile of sweet clover close by his sunning bank the other day while he was asleep. The fact is, Peter Rabbit was falling in love. Yes, sir, Peter Rabbit was falling in love. All he had seen of little Miss Fuzzytail were her soft, gentle eyes, for she was very shy and kept out of sight. But ever since he had first seen them, he had thought and dreamed of nothing else, until it seemed as if there were nothing in the world he wanted so much as to meet her. Perhaps he would have wanted this still more if he had known that it was she who had fooled her father, old Jed Thumper, the big gray old rabbit, so that Peter might have the long nap on the sunning bank he so needed. "I've just got to meet her, I've just got to," said Peter to himself. And right then, he began to wish that he were big and fine-looking. "My, I must be a sight," he thought. "I wonder how I do look anyway. I must hunt up a looking-glass and find out." Now, when Peter Rabbit thinks of doing a thing, he wastes very little time. It was that way now. He started at once for a bit of swamp where he had first seen the tracks of old Jed Thumper. He still limped from wounds made by Hooty the Owl, but in spite of this, he could travel pretty fast and it didn't take him long to reach the swamp. There, just as he expected, he found a looking-glass. What was it like? Why, it was just a tiny pool of water. Yes, sir, it was a quiet pool of water that reflected the ferns growing around it and the branches of trees hanging over it, and Peter Rabbit himself sitting on the edge of it. That was Peter's looking-glass. For a long time, he stared into it. At last, he gave a great sigh. "My, but I am a sight," he exclaimed. He was. His coat was ragged and torn from the claws of Hooty the Owl and the teeth of old Jed Thumper. The white patch on the seat of his trousers was stained and dirty from sitting down in the mud. There were burrs tangled in his waistcoat. He was thin and altogether a miserable-looking rabbit. "It must be that Miss Fuzzytail just pities me. She certainly can't admire me," muttered Peter as he pulled out the burrs. For the next hour, Peter was very busy. He washed and he brushed and he combed. When at last he had done all that he could, he took another look in his looking-glass, and what he saw was a very different-looking rabbit. "Though I am homely, lank, and lean, I can at least be neat and clean," said he as he started back for the sunning bank.